up, folks? I'm JC Owens. This is Rock My World, episode 33, The Power of Predictive Programming. Now, we've talked about this a little bit before with the cartoon con job episode, but now we're going to get a little bit more into how it works, why it works, and all that. Now, you've probably seen people watch kung fu movies with you, maybe in the theater, and they come out thinking they know kung fu. They'll be trying to do kicks in the parking lot and stuff like that, fall on their butt, that kind of thing. This is because our brain doesn't actually know the difference between what we're watching on the screen or reading in a book and what we're actually experiencing. You have to think about it like this. Our ancestors, before the television was invented, before the printing press and all this, the best they had was cave paintings. The best they had was cave paintings and actually seeing it happen. They had to, if other than that, all they had was imagination, right? Which is a fundamentally different thing than you seeing real people on a screen doing stuff that appears real to your eyes. Once you've processed that, the human brain, takes that and processes it and stores it as a real memory, something you actually did. See, once you go into a theater or you read that, or you pop open that book and you start really getting into it, you do something that's called suspending your disbelief. Once you've suspended disbelief and you went all in, people will talk about immersion. Well, once you're immersed, and the deeper you're immersed, the more that imprints on your brain as a real thing. If you watch a horror movie and you get super immersed in that to the point where the jump scares are getting you and, it's giving you nightmares at night, well, that's because your brain has experienced that trauma as if it was real. It thinks it just watched somebody get, have pliers taken to their teeth or hammers taken to their toes type deal. Your brain does not know the difference. Another reason why they do this is by showing you pictures of the future. Showing you a dystopian future like you see in Terminator, or you see a meteor strike the Earth. What this does is preload your brain so that you don't freak out when it actually happens. Right? It lets you get broke in a little bit. See, when people experience something new for the first time that's really scary, they panic. They freeze or they run. They go directly into fight or flight. But if you have been able to watch 6, 8, 10, 20 movies about the world coming to an end or a meteor hitting it or any of these kinds of things, then your anxiety level each time is going to go down and down and down until you're fairly comfortable with it. How many times have you watched a movie that has to do with something like that or survival, and you're going through it in your head, figuring out all the different ways that you would try to get yourself out of the situation you're seeing that character in? This is part of your natural process. This is you going through that and, making yourself more comfortable with it. The more ideas you have on how to get through this, the better your brain is going to feel. I tell people all the time, people think that our relationship to our mind, to our brain, and our body is a master-slave relationship, but it's not. It's why does your body hold you back when you get close to a ledge? Why does it make your knees start shaking and threaten to take them out from under you? Because it doesn't trust you near that ledge. In order to get it to stop doing that to you and let you bungee jump off that bridge or skydive out of that plane, you have to get your brain to trust you and let you do that. Or you're just going to have to shock it and have somebody push you out of it and then let it trust you that way. Once you get it through it, once you survive and everything's fine, your brain will be more likely to let you do it. This is also why the more times we do a crime or something, it becomes easier to do it every time because you get more and more acclimated. The military has been using this forever. They use video games, as a matter of fact, to acclimate soldiers to, combat environments. It allows you to run all kinds of different scenarios just right there in the same building. It allows the soldiers to experience a lot of the things that they're going to experience beforehand. And now that we have these super high-tech, realistic games on the market, now it's pre-programming our kids before they're even in high school. I've seen 5-year-olds playing Call of Duty, right? This is acclimating them to combat scenarios before they even really fully understand the reason why people fight or any of that kind of stuff. This stuff goes way deeper than people realize. But, the system and the government, everybody, they will sit here and tell you, oh, well, no, it doesn't affect, your child's mind like that. The only time they want to do that is when they want to sensationalize something and demonize something. But for the most part, all these games, movies, media, they want to act like it doesn't hurt you at all. They will drum up something like the satanic panic where it makes people look paranoid and crazy in order to take that, spotlight off what they're really doing. Not all of Hollywood is some satanic, ritual put to film, but most of it is something designed to mess with your head or influence you in some way. I mean, think about it. It came out some years ago through, Freedom of Information requests that the CIA had even funded shows like Cupcake Wars. Now, think about that for a second. Why would the CIA fund a show like Cupcake Wars? It doesn't really compute, does it? Except that shows like Cupcake Wars foster an us versus them team sports attitude. There's always a good guy and a bad guy. You're rooting for this one and you want these to fail. Well, same reasons we have team sports like football, baseball, basketball. It keeps you in this team sports mindset. So you keep falling for this right versus left game that they play. It's all that dialectic stuff set to a societal level, right? The same little good cop, bad cop games they play on low IQ criminals in the interrogation room, they play on the public at large. They've just blown the model up to fit, large-scale society and even, global society, if you will. Because at this moment in time, like with the internet and everything, we very much have become a global society. Yesterday, I just watched a video of guys in Southeast Asia racing rice tractors like it was an American tractor pull, right? Like, I've been all over the world over the years, and the fact of the matter is, everywhere is becoming America. This globalization is happening at a rapid rate, and we are homogenizing. And a big part of that is this predictive programming stuff, right? Like, it's being able to show the American lifestyle and show us as uber prosperous, and hey, if you adopt this globalist system that we have, then you can have it too. And it works. It works for stirring revolution. It works for convincing the public to accept the systems, to accept the banking system, to accept digital ID. All this stuff they've been slipping through. Entertainment, music, like, this is where it starts to get in your head. Your parents have to work all the time, and, what was, like, most of our babysitter, like, the TV. I want my MTV, right? Like, we just were plopped down in front of that sucker, and it was expected to keep us occupied. And boy, did it. Look at how society has turned out because we just turned this stuff loose on our kids without even realizing fully what was underlying a lot of these shows we were letting them watch, right? It's something that, like, we as adults must start taking account of and being aware of what our children are seeing, because this will change the way they behave in the future. It will change the way they think about things in the future. Once they are our age, there's no telling what kind of ideas they will have in their head because of something they saw when they were 7 or something they saw when they were 10, and we as their parents didn't notice it was there. because we weren't looking for it. But either way, folks, we're going to end it right there for today. I will see y'all next weekend with the next episode. Peace.